As the MCU gets sillier and sillier, I am thrilled to see that the Captain America vertical remains ever so serious, and I think it's fantastic. You know, with Winter Soldier, Cap's movies were the first to really mix in a different genre, which of course has proven to be incredibly successful for the MCU. I think one of the reasons that Kevin Feige is running into some problems is that he's forgotten that. Although Werewolf by Night has captivated many of you, because it does do the same thing, but with, you know, a different genre. And I'm going to break down that trailer after this one. We're going to have a lot of fun with that one there. A lot of film history stuff. But anyway, Captain America became a spy genre, which, you know, Mission Impossible. I love the Mission Impossible movies, especially once Christopher McQuarrie took over. And I'm excited to see the Captain America vertical, you know, move even more in that direction. I mean, it makes me curious as to what the Captain America New World Order movie will be like. So, of course, you had the Cap's, you know, Steve Rogers' stories. That tradition continued magnificently with Falcon and Winter Soldier, a really good series, in my opinion. And I know a number of you enjoyed it as well. And, you know, Black Widow, I think maybe Black Widow wasn't the home run that it could have been, because I think it took its eye off the ball on that a little bit. I think, you know, it didn't have, you know, it was, of course, literally dealing with spies, but I think it got so wrapped up in the women and human trafficking aspects, which, by the way, I thought were really good ideas, but it lost sight of the A storyline, which was, you know, Mission Impossible type stories. But I think that Black Widow's movie seemed back on track, because Thunderbolts, as I discussed with you yesterday in my other video, check that out, that's basically Black Widow too. And it looks like it's getting in the Mission Impossible territory. So, you know, this is the vertical that Zemo's in and all those characters. I mean, a number of you have been joking that it's all super soldiers in Thunderbolts, because it's Black Widow too. And speaking of which characters are in which vertical, I'm really happy after, you know, Tony Stark's tragic passing to see Nick Fury and Rhodey come over to this vertical. It's a perfect fit for them. I think it's fantastic. It does make me wonder what's going to happen with Riri Williams, because, you know, she's, I think, because of Armor Wars, I believe she and Rhodey, and, you know, because Rhodey is, you know, started out as an Iron Man character, and Riri Williams is supposed to be carrying on that legacy. I wonder if she'll be like because there doesn't seem to be an Iron Man vertical, so will she be in this vertical, or will she be in the Black Panther vertical? And the idea of a Black Panther vertical is very exciting. You know, let's see if that truly develops. But I think these verticals are crucial to the MCU. I think that it really needs to get back on these clear paths to have a little bit more focus. All right, so let's get down to this trailer, which I think has a lot of interesting Easter eggs already. Even though, well, it says it's the first full trailer, but it's short. It's a scooch under 2 minutes. Most trailers are about 2.5 minutes. But there's still some stuff for us to discuss. All right, so I believe we're in a European, maybe even Russian forest here. And now look at this. This is interesting. Very close encounters, by the way. That's a gorgeous shot. And it looks like something beams down, but it's actually a ship. And it looks very alien at first. I wonder if that's a giveaway that this is actually a Skrull. But it looks like Nick Fury. Now, as some of you have pointed out with your eagle eye, which is ironic because we're talking about Nick Fury's eye, for most of this trailer, he's no longer wearing an eye patch. Maybe Skrull science has repaired it. But at the very end, he's got the eye patch again. So the question is, does he get hurt again? He's like, I can't believe it. Or is one of these a Skrull? Because you might remember in the original Secret Invasion storyline, Jessica Drew, aka Spider-Woman, who they no longer have the rights to, so they can't do that storyline, she was replaced by a Skrull. In fact, the Queen Skrull, and it was not revealed to the very end of the show. So you had someone, in the comic. So you had someone at the heart of the Avengers team who was helping them, who was actually a mole for the other side. So I think that's a real possibility here. Maybe that's why he hasn't been answering the phone when, Maria Hill calls, because he's been literally indisposed. They captured the humans, and luckily they didn't kill them. They just put them like in a deep freeze, which I think is maybe alluded to in this trailer. But yeah, I'm wondering what's going on with Nick Fury. I mean, that's the great thing about the Secret Invasion storyline. You don't know for sure who anybody is. Oh, I love it. It's so fun. I hope they do a good job with that. So he's landed. Nick Fury has landed. And this is, I think, a Russian bar, because there's like that sign on the door. I think that's Russian. And you'll see there's another thing later, I think also in Russia. So he's meeting Maria Hill, and she's like, why'd you ghost me, you jerk? And he's like, this is important. And I'm like, is he really important or is he an amazing actor? So this was a great scene. This reminded me actually of when Butcher went to see Giancarlo Esposito in The Boys. I was like, secret clandestine meetings in nice restaurants. But let's talk about Rhodey. So Rhodey seems to be moving on up in the world. Last we saw him in Falcon and Winter Soldier, he was wearing his Air Force uniform. But now, with the security detail, which Fury is asking him about, he seems to have moved into some sort of office. Either he's been elected to something or he's been appointed to something. Is he like Secretary of Defense? I think was General Ross Secretary of State? I think he was Secretary of State or Secretary of Defense. But William Hurt, of course, passed away. Perhaps Rhodey has taken over that position, or some position. But I wonder if he was Secretary of Defense, that would play in very interestingly with Armor Wars, that show coming up. And maybe it would be one of the reasons that he would have an armor war, to get some kind of, some kind of weapons development for the government. By the way, I love these glasses. I've been seeing crystal tumblers in a number of shows lately, and I'm like, I think maybe for the next holiday season, I need to buy myself some crystal tumblers. Those are gorgeous. So he's like, what do you know about your security detail? And I love this scene. I love the way it's acted. I think it's really awesome to have this scene be between Samuel L. Jackson and Don Cheadle. And I think the acting here is top tier. I just love, Nick Fury doesn't even have to say anything, but you can already tell he feels he's getting too old for this shit. I love it. If that's a Skrull, he's an amazing actor. Whatever the Skrullies are, they're like, after our invasion, we're going to give out awards for who of you really went above and beyond. And I'd be like, I'm nominating Nick Fury Skrull because he really went for it. So these shots and the music are just great. And so there's Martin Freeman. Again, he actually is from the Black Panther vertical, but because he's a government agent, bringing him over into this, Captain America did get along with T'Challa quite well. They're even doing that new video game. So would Black Panther maybe be part of this vertical? Because Black Panther storylines are a little more serious as well. Fascinating. And to some degree, Black Panther stories are about a royal family, which is the ruling faction of Wakanda, so it's also technically about governments. And so Riri Williams would fit in perfectly then. I like this. I like this a lot. And this just looks so Mission Impossible. That could be Simon Pegg, but instead it's Martin Freeman. It's a different funny Brit. All right, so Martin Freeman, and I love this. This woman's like, I need my gun. And then this is obviously a Skrull. Is that Ben Mendelsohn and Nick Fury? I think it is. And so the benefit of being a Skrull is that, they have super strength clearly, and he just rips off these chains like Wonder Woman did in Wonder Woman 1984. All right, so they're working together again. Now look at this. There's Olivia Colman. We'll talk about her a little bit more in a moment, but let's look at what they're looking at. So we have some kind of figures who are being held. Now, I don't think that those are dead bodies because they would just be under sheets. There'd be no reason to light them up like that. So I wonder if they found a place where the Skrulls are hiding the people they've replaced, right? That's very interesting. I don't know why they'd hide them on Earth for budgetary reasons for the show, but then also maybe the Skrulls don't have a big operating budget. They're like, you know how much it would cost to beam them back up to space? Forget it. I'm going to put them in this basement. So that's very interesting. Pretty good job here. This isn't that expensive to do. Speaking of the budget, you just get some nice little lighted up blankets, but it's effective. It's effective. Now, Olivia Colman is playing Falsworth, aka Union Jack, gender bent version of the character. And in the MCU, she is Nick Fury's UK or European counterpart, like Interpol. So she is the Interpol equivalent of S.H.I.E.L.D., right? S.H.I.E.L.D., I think, S.H.I.E.L.D.'s Department of Damage Control took over, right? But anyway, that's what she does, all right? So I guess that's her and her operatives. So Ben Mendelsohn, this is actually him. He's talking about Fury, but this is the other side of the scene that we're going to see in a moment with Kingsley Ben-Adir. But, he looks the same as he did in Captain Marvel because he's a Skrull. He can, aging isn't an issue for them because, they can look like whatever they want. Which is why Emilia Clarke is playing his daughter, and he yet still looks exactly the same as he did in that other movie. All right. Didn't he take on the form of somebody that, they were working for? So I guess he liked it. He was like, I think I look pretty snazzy this way. I love Ben Mendelsohn, though, so I want him to continue to look like that. So look at this. This is a great thing. So he makes a move on Ben Kingsley Adair. He's very upset. But look, everybody in the room is a Skrull. And they all look like Ben Kingsley Adair. I wonder what is the significance of looking like that human. Isn't that great? It's like, wow, talk about, what's that game where they try and make you find, where's the ball? Where's the real leader? You're like, well, he's one of these guys. That's great. I think that's really well done. It's subtle, but very effective and nicely done on the VFX team. It's very fitting that they're in this room, I believe, with all these leaders, right? They're like, we're the next leaders. Ha! Maybe they'll look like all of them at some point in the scene. I don't know if they'd pay for that. So he's like, uh-oh. So there's some kind of explosion. Reminds me of Falcon and Winter Soldier. And you can see that, I believe that's Russian writing there. A lot of Russia stuff. 3 out of the 3 members of the new Thunderbolts team are from Russia. So I'm curious. And, Russia, of course, is making a lot of headlines these days, both with its interactions with the whole world and, Ukraine, etc. So look at this. Now pay attention to this room, all right? We'll come back to this. This is very important. But there's some kind of interrogation going on here. They're like, should we turn him into the next Bucky? But they're interrogating this guy, and she seems ready to help with her special tools. So she comes on in, although she seems to have gotten a new tool, unless it's, that's a new one. It looks like some kind of injection. Maybe that'll make him talk. Olivia Colman's badass. Great choice. Now, I see all these clocks in her office, and that always brings to mind the TVA. So I wonder why she has all those clocks. I couldn't find a connection between clocks and Union Jack, so we'll see. Maybe she just likes clocks. Oh, that's a great shirt, though. She looks fantastic. And she's like, we all know you're out of your league. And he's like, excuse me? I was in the MCU before you. Now, look. This is the exact same room that she went into for the interrogation, only now someone's trying to get out. So I'm very curious as to what's going on here. That's fascinating. So they're taking off that door. Now here's Rhodey. This is the UK. You can tell by the uniforms on that officer. They only wear those kind of funny hats in the UK. Apologies, my UK friends, but those are some funny hats. So he's over there in some kind of official capacity. There's the security detail. Which one is a Skrull? Are they all Skrulls? Is he a Skrull? It's a great game. All right. There's Maria Hill. Looks like the same underground catacombs that we saw Martin Freeman's character. Everett K. Ross, by the way, is not related to General Ross. They just happen to have the same last name. I mean, Kevin Feige could decide to change that, but I know some of you are like, why can't he be Red Hulk? All right. Side note, I'll just tell you here. There was some announcement that the leader from the Hulk stories was going to be in the new Captain America movie, Captain America New World Order. And that just makes me feel like maybe they are. Some of you are like, that seems like a lame person for him to have to fight. Well, if it leads to the Red Hulk, which I told you I heard they were discussing in development meetings for that movie, I think you'll be just fine with the leader's inclusion. And since the leader is a Hulk character, I think that really gives you the bridge you need to bring the Red Hulk into that movie, which will really make that movie just a bullseye. I mean, and what a great assist to give to Sam Wilson to make sure his first movie where he's the lead Captain America is a big hit. Great idea. Speaking of red, Emilia Clarke's got red hair here, and you'll notice in another scene she does not. Is she just going around dyeing her hair? Well, when you're a Skrull, and I believe she's Talos's daughter, you can change your hair very easily. That's kind of a fun aspect of it. You can change like little things like your makeup and your hair and the hairstyle and the hair color. I think that kind of subtle changes is like a really interesting part of shapeshifting that's never really been explored. I think that's really cool. All right. So what's with all the crows? I don't think a Skrull could turn into a crow unless it's a baby Skrull. So I think he's back in the UK. He's like, this is my fight and it's my fight alone. Ask for help, Fury. Look, there's our buddies, Department of Damage Control. Trying to control some damage right now. I'm not sure what that is. This is also, I believe, Russian writing. They're building some kind of contraption. I'm not quite sure what that is. Looks like they're using old school Russian tech, so it probably won't work. Ha ha. All right. And then here's Emilia Clarke again. She looks great there. Love the masks on the wall. Does a Skrull live here? I think that's really a clever touch. Because, of course, they change their faces all the time. All right, there's one. He's like, wouldn't you change this? No, come on. I'm sure he's got a great personality. But he's very upset at this moment. I believe there's like a division within the Skrulls, and that's what you're dealing with. There are some nice Skrulls, and there are some not so nice Skrulls. So there's Fury. He's got the eye patch again. What's going on here, man? Seems to be in that facility. Then there's someone else's detail is under attack. Love it. These are the kind of action scenes I want to see. That looks great. That is a great shot. I mean, that's gorgeous. Now, is he just getting back into his old outfit? Because, he has the beard and he just shaves it down to an awesome goatee. Or is this the real Nick Fury? Is it a Skrull Nick Fury? This show keeps us guessing, and that's the whole point of Secret Invasion. But the lighting, that's such a great shot for Samuel L. Jackson. I love it. When the paycheck gig turns into just a great gig. You gotta love it. He should really send a gift basket to Mark Miller for having him, be the Nick Fury in the comics, because that's how he got the gig, because they drew it that way in the comics, and then Kevin Feige decided to actually make it happen. What a gift to Samuel L. Jackson. They also cast Tommy Lee Jones as Norman Osborn, but I think that ship might have passed. All right, so anyway, Secret Invasion is coming. Darn it, we got to wait until 2023, but hopefully early 2023, because it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait. Woo boy. Look, see, different color greens, like the different Skrull factions. I think it's interesting that they stripped out the horror aspects of the original logo from the comics and instead went with this more like slick, spy, political kind of thriller one. I guess that makes sense. If you're going to have these verticals, as I just said, you got to stick to them. You don't want people thinking this is Werewolf by Night. Be sure to check out that breakdown, which will go up soon. It'll be my next thing. All right, so what did you think of the trailer? Did you notice anything? What do you think of some of my theories and the things that I've pointed out? Share those thoughts down below. Subscribe today. And of course, as always, you can check out some more videos right now.